Okay, so here's the chart, GRLF. Now, I use a rule generally. If I was 5 years old, because I was good at this kind of stuff when I was five, believe it or not. I'm not bragging, I'm a bozo and all that. But I tested high enough on the equivalency test in Kingman, Arizona, which is a very small town in the middle of nowhere, and was an even smaller town back in the Stone Age when I was five. I tested high enough to where they actually brought out federal educators or whatever, and they set up a room with all kinds of tests, and they would have me how many triangles or how many squares could I make out of this group of triangles or squares. Or there would be a lady with a package of Alka-Seltzer, and she would have a cup of water at room temperature. She would say, if I drop these tablets in this cup, this water is room temperature, how long will it take for these tablets to dissolve? I was pretty bad at that one. I guessed 2.5 minutes there on the Alka-Seltzer. And I think it was closer to 4. Yeah, it was close to 4 on the Alka-Seltzer. I was amazed. But this would fall into the same kind of group of stuff. You could show a young mind this chart and ask him or her, what do you think's going to happen here with this price? What do you think's going to happen here with this chart? Don't tell them it's a stock. Don't tell them it's anything like that. Just say, where do you see these little candles or these little lines continuing to go? And that little junior tot would tell you, well, it's going to flatten out for a little bit, and then it's going to go straight up again. Then it's going to fall, then it's going to flatten out, then it's going to go straight up again. Now, if we're looking at the chart from a dummy prospect, I like this chart. I think it's time to buy. Now, I've called this taken off about 18 times. So if it does take off, I'll be 1 for 18. So I'm no Nostradamus here. But I'm just going by technicals, okay? And I'm always wrong. So don't... But I'm right in, like, what I invest in and the way I hold. Does that make sense? I might be wrong. I mean, my buy-in's up there around 0.002. It's a ways up there. My timing's off. But the reason why I bought this is because they just started reporting financials, which is great for OTC. There's a lot of room for explosion. There's 1,000% gainer in here, I think. I don't normally give away price targets. Please don't share that with anybody. Just keep it to yourself. But that's what I think this thing has in it. We see the Bollinger Bands starting to widen. That's always good. You could see what happens when those purple bands above and below the candles started to widen. We also see that we're about to grab support off our purple line. The line in the middle, that's the moving average. Okay? Now, the price movement above or below that moving average makes them bands widen. Those bands are determined by the moving average. Little education there. Sorry if you already knew it. If you didn't know it, it's good to know. If someone starts trying to get smart with you about Bollinger Bands, you could ask them what forms a Bollinger Band and see what their answer is. See how long it takes them to look it up. Anyway, and I like the levels of support. Now, if we draw lines of support, not on the peaks. Don't draw any lines on the peaks. Who cares about the peaks? Matter of fact, I cut off the top of the last peak. That's how much I care about the peak. I care about the levels of support, the troughs. You could see we dug down first and came off 5. 0005 was that first support. Then we went up and we dug down off of 001 or 10. 10 was the next support. I see this next support being at 15 according to the moving average and just according to the 5-year-old rule. A 5-year-old would say, well, it grabs support at 5, then at 10. Next it'll grab support at 15. Where we go from 15 is pretty high because we're talking percentages here, and the percentages of the last spikes, that move from 15 up will pay all of us plenty, no matter what we bought in at, even if we bought in at the top like me. So if you're trying to just flip or scalp here, it's a great stock. If you're holding long term, they're starting to report financials, which means the financials will be good. Just wait. There's no other reason they would want to report them. They don't have to report them to stay OTC. They can stay OTC in the dark forever. If they want to report them, they're usually good. They usually have some good financials coming if they're paying all that money to go through that process, hire all those people and do all that paperwork to report them. They probably have something good to report. Makes sense, right? So I see this good as a flip, as a scalp, as a swing, however you want to call it. I like to call it swinging. I swing as well. And I see it good as a long term. I haven't decided whether I'm going to swing this or stick with it. You know, I have another stock that's doing decent, and I might just stay long here and swing the other one, right? And then go into my next one off of that money from the other one. I might actually stick around here. I'm not saying that for sure. I'm not saying stay long forever, dude. I'm not saying anything like that. We don't want any retards who are going to be in this forever and they sell the next day.